Neuroscience shows that riding a motorcycle well has almost nothing to do with fast hands or fast reflexes. In fact, some of the safest, smartest riders on the road have habits that look strange from the outside, even a little wrong to other people watching them. Your riding intelligence is not just about how many years you have been riding, or how many bikes you have owned, or how fast you can twist the throttle. It is about how your brain actually handles danger, attention, and fear in real time, in the half second before something goes wrong. Most riders never think about any of this. They just ride and hope their reflexes show up when it matters. But researchers who study riders have found real, repeatable patterns that separate the riders who stay safe for decades from the ones who do not. None of these patterns have anything to do with talent. Stick around because the fifth habit is the one almost nobody talks about, and it explains why some drivers seem to look straight at a motorcycle and still pull out anyway. Here are 5 rare habits that neuroscience links to an extremely high riding IQ. First, you look far down the road, not right in front of your bike. You might think good riders are the ones who watch the road closely and react fast the moment something happens, but research on rider eye movement shows something different. The best riders barely look at what is close to them at all. Scientists tracked the eyes of expert riders and brand new riders on the exact same road. The new riders kept glancing back and forth, checking brake markers, corners, and stop signs, almost like they were double-checking themselves every few seconds. The expert riders did the opposite. They looked far ahead, picked one spot, and trusted it completely. They did not glance back and forth, and they did not second-guess what they saw. This one habit gave their brain far more time to plan a smooth line, instead of scrambling to react at the last second. If you're the kind of rider who naturally looks way down the road instead of staring at your front wheel or the car right in front of you, your brain might already be running on expert settings. Most riders learn this the hard way, usually after a close call scares them into changing. High riding IQ riders build the habit before anything goes wrong, not after. Second, you do not stare at the thing you're afraid of. This sounds obvious, but almost no one actually does it in the moment. When something scary shows up on the road, a pothole, a car pulling out, a patch of gravel, most riders' eyes lock onto it instantly. And here's the strange part that most people never learn. Wherever your eyes go, your bike tends to follow, almost like your hands are taking orders from your eyes instead of your brain. This is called target fixation, and it goes all the way back to World War II when fighter pilots stared at their targets so hard that some of them flew straight into the exact thing they were trying to hit. Riders do the same thing without ever realizing it. You see the pothole, you stare at the pothole, and somehow, almost like magic, your front wheel finds the pothole. High-riding IQ riders train themselves to do the opposite on purpose. The second they notice their eyes locking onto danger, they force their head to snap toward the open space instead, the gap, the clear lane, the way out. It feels unnatural at first, almost like fighting your own instincts, but over time, with enough practice, it becomes automatic. Your eyes stop chasing fear and start chasing the exit instead. Third, your hands know how to turn before your brain understands why. Here is something wild that most riders never think about, even after years of riding. To turn a motorcycle at any real speed, you actually push the handlebar in the opposite direction of the turn you want. Push right to go left. It sounds completely backwards, and it is. This is called countersteering. What is strange is that most riders do this perfectly every single ride without ever knowing they are doing it. If you ask them how they turn their bike, they will usually describe it wrong, sometimes with total confidence. Their hands know the truth. Their brain has a completely different story. Researchers studying skilled riders found something interesting, though. The most advanced riders, racers, and instructors can actually explain the real technique correctly step by step. Somewhere between beginner and expert, the unconscious skill quietly turns into conscious understanding. If you've ever caught yourself really knowing, in detail, how your bike turns instead of just doing it by feel, that is a sign your brain has leveled up. But here's the twist nobody warns you about. Studies looking at real crashes found that under real panic, many riders lose this skill completely, in an instant. Some riders, in the middle of an actual emergency, steered straight into the exact thing they were trying to avoid. Because fear shut down the automatic skill they had used perfectly every single day before that. High riding IQ riders practice these moves on purpose, again and again in a parking lot or a course, specifically so the skill survives even when real fear shows up. Fourth, you can pay attention to more than one thing at the same time. Most people assume riding skill is about focus, just one thing, dead ahead, nothing else. But researchers comparing riders who had crashed to riders who never had found something surprising. It was not reaction speed that separated the two groups. It was the ability to split attention between several things at once and quietly ignore whatever did not matter. Riders who had gotten into accidents genuinely struggled to track more than one thing at a time: a car on the left, a light changing up ahead, a pedestrian near the sidewalk. High riding IQ riders naturally hold several things in their mind at once, without locking on to just one and losing the rest. They notice the car about to merge, and the pothole ahead, and the light turning yellow, almost like their brain is running more than one program at the same time without slowing down. This is not something most riders are ever taught in a class. It is a habit that builds slowly, ride after ride, until scanning several things at once feels normal instead of overwhelming. Fifth, you assume other drivers cannot actually see you, even when they are staring directly at you. This last one is not really about being careful. It's about understanding how other people's eyes physically work, which most riders never think to question. Scientists found something strange about how the human brain judges speed. Big objects, like cars and trucks, seem to arrive faster to our eyes. Small objects, like motorcycles, seem to arrive slower, even when both are moving at the exact same speed. So a driver waiting to pull out of a driveway might look directly at an approaching motorcycle, and their brain will genuinely believe it is farther away and slower than it really is, without the driver doing anything wrong on purpose. On top of that, when a bike is heading straight at someone from far away, it barely seems to grow in size for a long stretch of time, and then it suddenly looks like it appeared out of nowhere. This is not the driver being careless or distracted. It is a glitch built directly into how human vision works. High riding IQ riders know this, so instead of trusting eye contact as proof they have been seen, they move slightly inside their lane or flash their light just to break that illusion and get noticed sooner. They ride like they are invisible, because in a very real, measurable way, sometimes they actually are. So what really separates a high-riding IQ rider from everyone else on the road? It's not how many years they've been riding, and it's not how fast their reflexes happen to be. It comes down to 5 quiet habits repeated so many times they stop feeling like effort. Looking far down the road instead of close in front, refusing to stare at fear and training the eyes to chase the exit instead. Trusting hands that already know more than the brain does, and drilling that skill until it survives real panic. Holding more than one thing in your mind at once without losing track of any of it. And riding like the world cannot fully see you, because sometimes, according to the science, it really cannot. Riding smart was never about being fearless. It's about understanding exactly how your own brain and everyone else's brain on the road actually works. None of these 5 habits require natural talent, and none of them show up overnight. They are built one ride at a time, usually without the rider even noticing it's happening.
So the next time you swing a leg over your bike, ask yourself which of these 5 habits you already have and which one might be worth building on purpose before the road forces you to learn it the hard way.